Okay. Peace. This is In Living Black. I am JD. Of course, I'm here with a brother of mine.
Scoop, what up, y'all?
And then we have a very powerful and insightful guest.
Wow.
A relationship, I watch his stuff. Relationship therapist, for lack of better terms. Mac Stanley. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, guys. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thank you for being here with my late ass. Going in the wrong studio.
You messed up, bro.
Yeah. I heard y'all was cooking and stuff like that. Well, we could dive right into it. First, how did you get your start in this field, being in a therapist and especially in a relationship therapist, and what sparked that?
So the short version is, while I was in my relationship, I was looking for help. And everybody I went through could not give me the help that I actually needed. So I also to just play the field, you're young, do your thing. But I really wanted to make my relationship work. So at that time period, I was also in school for psychology to become a therapist. So I decided, why not take a relationship course as an elective, just so I could gain more information. And then as I started to take on that course, I just fell in love with the material because deep down, that's really what I always wanted to do. Like, man, by college, I've read every relationship book that was out there. Right. So that's something that I really liked. So now with this added knowledge of evidence-based couples therapy, which is research-based, I'm like, oh man, I can become exactly what I was looking for, so that when other men and other couples are looking for help with their relationships, they can just come to me versus hearing the nonsense and the bullshit that's being circulated all around us.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And I think social media is very heavy in the base of like bullshit that we hear for relationships. What are those things that's plaguing the black community as far as relationships?
Oh man, I think one, not understanding how to make a relationship work, because that's a skill in itself. Not knowing how to communicate, not having the foundational pieces to actually build long-term healthy relationships. And not the most importantly, what I've been seeing lately is a lot of the men not recognizing the benefits of a long-term relationship.
Right. What are some of the benefits that come with being in a long-term relationship?
A lot, man. Especially for men. Like, you tend to live 4 to 6 years longer.
What?
You tend to do a lot better financially. Emotionally, you're on a different level due to your emotional intelligence. You're less likely to experience depression, anxiety, and all of those type of symptoms. So, and if you really look at all the successful men in life,
they have a partner.
Yeah.
No, I've always seen that. Like, correct. I've always, and I've seen men only get to where they need to be when they have a partner. Yep. But I really want to know why that is. You get what I'm saying?
I think it's a lot of reasons, right? In the world, in the corporate world, us men, we are supposed to show up as alpha.
Okay.
We are supposed to show up determined, focused. There's no room for our emotions. But at home is the complete opposite, right? I get to download. I get to release. I get to communicate. I get to be the little spoon. I get to show my feelings and bond. And also, that's a source of motivation that I want to provide for my partner. I want to provide for my children, but also I have that safe space that at any time I can retreat to and get that emotional assistance and help that I actually need to go further in life.
Why do you think men, this is a real question.
Talk to me.
If I'm in a relationship and I know that this relationship is bettering me as a person, as a man, why do I then cheat on my woman?
Oh, man.
You get what I'm saying?
That is a great question, right? So usually we look at infidelity as the disease, like the thing that went wrong. But in reality, it's a symptom of a bigger issue.
What is that?
The bigger issue is the fact that the relationship is not where it needs to be. The relationship is no longer feeling safe. It's no longer catering to the needs that I'm actually having. I've communicated and I've asked, hey, here's how I need you to love me. Here are the things that I'm looking that I'm looking at you for. Here are the things that I am in need of in the relationship. I'm not feeling seen. I'm not feeling appreciated. I'm not feeling wanted. So once these things continue for a period amount of time, it's human nature to become predisposed to infidelity.
Okay. But then I feel like people will combat that and just say, then why just not leave? Why cheat?
Because a lot of people don't want to leave their relationship, right? And truth is, people cheat because they want to.
Yeah.
Right? However, there's also the caveat that people are unhappy in their relationships and they are attempting to correct it, but it's not being received and it's not being done. Right. So if I'm in a relationship and as a black man or as a man, period, whenever I'm expressing how I'm feeling, I'm being told to man up.
Yeah.
Or the minute that I share what's bothering me, my female partner is also bringing up what's bothering them, and we never get to address mine. Now, unconsciously, I'm being predisposed to infidelity because now when I go to work and that female colleague who actually want to hear how my day was, who want to hear my struggles. Yeah. So even though I'm not thinking of infidelity, it's naturally starting to build into that. We're connecting. Now we're spending more time together. We're going out to lunch together. Now we're going to dinner. But I'm not telling my wife, right? We're texting, but I'm not telling my wife. I'm actually looking forward to come to work to talk to her as opposed to going home, right? Now you see the cycle just repeats itself over and over and over again until we get into a space where it gets physical.
That's so problematic. I do think, myself, I'll speak for myself. When I was in a relationship, I've been single for like the past 6 years. We'll probably discuss what that is.
Jesus.
It's been a minute. But when I was in a relationship, I felt like I was in a relationship with this woman for 6 years, but I did feel like, all these women was giving me attention at work.
Wait. So you said I did feel like all these women.
No, I did. Not that I did feel like they were giving me attention at work.
Correct, but I want you to include the emotion there. I did feel like is not a feeling. How did you feel? I did feel
they were into me.
They were into me is also not an emotion.
Emotion.
Right? So how were you feeling in your relationship compared to at work?
Got it. I think the attention.
I felt deprived. I felt unwanted.
Yeah.
I felt not prioritized.
Right.
Compared to the attention that I was receiving at work.
Receiving at work. Yeah.
Right. So now you automatically going to be drawn to the places where you feel welcome and appreciated.
Yeah.
Right. So even though you did not go into the work thinking that you're going to cheat or wanting to cheat,
right,
but you could see how the lack of appreciation at the home versus the praise at the job could lead you to connect with somebody at work to develop into something more.
But what stops that? Like, what stops you? Because, like, you can't be a 100% in a relationship at all times. You get what I'm saying? You're going to be deprived of something. You're going to have to fall inconsistent of something.
Yes.
What stops you from, like, okay, I'm deprived of this at home, but I'm not going to look for it somewhere else?
Correct.
Is it just communication?
Yes.
There we go.
And knowing how to communicate. Right? A lot of us would tend to say, well, I told you, but you're feeling attacked. Buddy, that's because you're attacking me through your communication skills. Right? As opposed to, hey, babe, lately I've been feeling undesired and unwanted in the relationship. Whenever I've tried to share things with you, it has led to me feeling more alienated in the relationship. Yeah. While at work, I'm experiencing all of this praise, but I'm noticing that I would rather that at home versus work. So can we talk about ways that we can better my feelings and my experience of the relationship? Yeah. Because right now I'm really drawn to the outside world as opposed to the inner world of the relationship. Right? Yeah. So it's being brave enough to say it, knowing how to say it, and to have an emotionally aware partner that's able to receive that. Yeah. And say, okay, cool. What are the ways that I've not shown up for you? What are the ways that I have neglected you? And how can I improve on those things? Right. And let's have a check-in again in 2 weeks and see if those feelings persist.
Right. Man, that's a great point.
But that's not easy to do,
that's
brother.
Not easy to do.
That is not easy to do.
It's harder to communicate your feelings in a way that's like that. I feel like that just takes a lot of work. I've now came into the ability to communicate my feelings properly. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that is because of me journaling or me like talking shit out with people that I love and care for. And then also them telling me like, yo, my shit stinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was wrong with that, you know? And sometimes you just need to hear that. And I do think now in my next relationship, the communication skills should be better.
Based on what?
Based on just me doing the work.
What is the work? Like we use all of these labels to communicate all of these things that really don't mean shit. Like what is the work that you've done to better your communication skills?
So let me ask you a question. Will your communication skills only get better within the relationship? You would have to be in a relationship in order for your communication skills to get better.
So the relationship, I tend to view relationship as a mirror of self.
Okay.
Right? Because in a relationship, that's when all your buttons are going to be pushed. Right? It's easy for you and I to communicate this well because we're not engaged in anything. Like there's no emotional attachment.
Right.
Now, when it's with your partner and they are pressing your buttons, they are triggering you, it's a lot harder to be able to say, I feel blank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Right. But again, when we say we've worked on our relationship, on our communication skills, what does that mean, right? Because personally, for me, what I do is I'll run couples through a test of communication skills.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to give you the scenarios and ask you, how would you start this conversation? 96% of the time, the way you start a conversation is exactly how it ends, right? So by your first 5 words, I know where this conversation is going to go, right? So now if you told me that you've worked on your communication skills, I am inclined to ask you, how did you do that?
So like me saying, if I'm like journaling my thoughts and like where I went wrong, things I've done, and even talking it out, probably with the people that I've done wrong to, and then understanding that my communication skills was bad then, and then doing the work as far as like watching things like or reading books and things of that nature of better communication skills, like attached.
Which book?
Like Attached.
Doesn't help you with communication skills. So insight does not create change. Okay. Insight does not create change. You are stating that you've done a lot of insightful work to understand who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And in theory, that does make a lot of sense. We should all know who we are because it always starts with self, right? It always starts with you. However, now in the heat of the moment, when you're dealing with another partner, right? And those things that you've worked on become activated, are you skilled enough to communicate it in a manner that they can receive properly? Or do you default to what's comfortable to you when in the heat of conflict, right? There's a difference between I want to versus I'm able to. I've been with my wife, we're going on 15 years now. We haven't had a conflict, I would say, for the past 10 years. We've had multiple disagreements, but we haven't had conflict. Conflict is the absence of the skills. I have the skills. When she chooses to, she has the skills. Right?
Yeah.
So therefore, there's nothing that we can't talk about.
Right. But how do you get to that space?
Well, you become a certified couples therapist in the state of New York City. You go through all the trainings that I've gone through. You run all of the workshops that I have done. So my feedback to you would be, go get the knowledge. A lot of single folks lack relationship skills. And then they wonder why they can't get into a relationship, right? We know how to date. I mean, look at your swag, homie. Like you walk into a room, you take over. Young Buck here. He is the dude. He walks in, all eyes on him. You guys know how to work a room, right? You guys know how to talk. To me, I never allow men to talk too much, especially in session, because they know how to talk. They know how to sweet talk. They can talk the panties off.
They do the gift of gab.
But you're doing it with another dude present. Like, come on, bro. I got the game. I see the game. We ain't doing that, right?
For sure.
But again, people have this issue of dating, but it not turning into a relationship because we are lacking the relationship skills. And we have this mindset that we must wait until we attain a relationship to have the relational skills. And in theory, that's false, right? You don't learn how to drive when you get your first car.
Correct.
Right? You do it prior.
Yeah.
Right? You don't become a lawyer, then learn the law. You learn the law, and then you qualify yourself to become a lawyer. So it's the same concept in relationships.
How do you feel about people that are serial relationship people? Like they just go into different relationships.
One after the other.
One after the other.
They need help.
They need help.
They need a hug.
Right.
Yo,
We all need a hug.
Man, I told somebody that, they thought it was crazy. I'm like, because it sounds crazy to say like, you know, you leave me and then next month
you in a different relationship.
That
like,
makes no sense.
Yeah.
When you need time to process what has happened, you need time to recover from that relationship. I mean, it's smart though, right? I've done it. Young man, I see that this relationship is not going to last long. So instead of dealing with the emotions of failing, of having a failed relationship, I can start to set up another relationship so I can avoid all of the uncomfortable work that a breakup would require. So this way I can mask my feelings and just focus on the positivity. That's why the positive culture is so toxic, because it's inaccurate. We have to feel all of our emotions.
Right.
That's deep.
I do want to cut you off. I do have a question though. Aside from the people who like don't want to do the work, like you see through sessions, through communication, and they don't want to do the work by action, not because they said it, but by their actions. Aside from those people, is there ever a time, or like, is there a way to know when you should let go of the relationship?
Yeah. When they are no longer invested in making the relationship work. Right. And that may require for them to show up in the ways that's uncomfortable to them. But if that's what the relationship needs, are you able to show up for that? A theme, a trend that I've noticed is a lot of men tend to check out of their relationships once they become parents. Because, I mean, I hit that line. Are you going to change when the baby gets here?
Yeah. I hit it.
Of course your wife is going to change.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Your relationship will never be the same.
Never be the same. Yeah, no.
And you're holding on to the 1.0 version and not embracing the 2.0 version. And now you're feeling neglected because mom is so focused on breastfeeding and keeping this child alive. Right. And you've become more focused on being a provider than being present, and not realizing being with a baby for all these hours is a lot of work. Right. So I find that a lot of the men become turned off to their relationship, or not as invested or aligned with the relationship because of the presence of a child. Damn. Which, believe it or not, infidelity tends to be highest during postpartum. Damn.
Yeah, nah, I believe that.
I believe it too.
Yeah,
when a woman is suffering the most and you just like decide to like leave, or not leave, but like do some other shit on the side when she probably needs you the most, it's crazy.
Oh, you know how traumatic that is?
Yeah.
When I've been up with this baby, I thought you were going to work.
Yeah.
I couldn't take a shower. I can't use the bathroom by myself. I don't remember the last time I showered. I haven't been outside.
Yeah.
It's just been me wearing the same outfit for 3 days. And you out there
doing
spending money on somebody else, being with somebody else. All because by the time you get home, I put the baby to sleep and I'm so exhausted that I fall asleep too. It's been 3 days we haven't had sex. Now, oh my God, the world is over.
Yeah,
because I never really tapped into why people, like men, like cheat on the women when they're going through like postpartum, because they never say why. Like you said, it could be something small as like, yo, we didn't have sex for 3 days. Yeah, that's so to me that's so juvenile. You know what I'm saying? But they always like to say like, yo, I don't feel like seen. But it's like, what do you mean? What's not happening anymore? It's something so small like that. It's like, bro, you gotta, that's crazy.
There's a mind. So couples that transition to being a couple to first time parents, experience a lack of dissatisfaction in their relationship 70% of the time for the first 3 years. Mom's libido might even drop for the first 3 years, especially if she's breastfeeding, right? But during that time period, like, I've had 3 kids in 5 years.
Jesus.
Listen, every vacation we went to, she trapped me. That is my story. I am a victim here. Okay, I am blinking to let you know that I need help. Every time we went on vacation, she trapped me. Every time. Every time I started to feel good again, I was back in the gym losing some weight.
Yeah.
Hear her ovulation self coming my way, right? Yeah. So what I did is, before we even had our first child, you know how many books I read? You know how many research I did, man?
Yeah.
I'm like, there is no way nobody has experienced this and prepped for this. So I went and I did the prep work, right? You don't just, your child being here doesn't make you a father. A father is a mindset, right? It's an acceptance. So I did the work prior to all of this because I knew exactly what was coming my way.
I completely agree.
I was prepared, right? And me being a therapist who loves research, right? I already started implementing what we needed to make sure that we survive that time period because I know it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Bro, I finally got my wife back, man.
Right.
Finally got her back. Now she's feeling herself again. She at the gym. She wearing the things I like for her to wear. Now she's seeking me out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, like, we're in that phase that it was worth it.
Yeah, you're right.
But what's also interesting is that marriages that are child-centered have a higher rate of infidelity and divorce versus relationships that are partner-centered, right? And what you find is that a lot of the mothers, due to their makeup in general, are very child-centered, which makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. 1,000.
Which makes sense. It's survival. It makes a lot of sense. I get it, right? So now it's important to have that conversation so that shift can be made.
Let me ask you a question. In the dating phase.
And don't kill me for that, guys. I didn't come up with it. It's facts.
It's facts. Okay. In a dating phase, right?
Talk to me.
How do you stop yourself from falling for this person? This said person. This is actually a question from the guest. Okay. Within the dating phase, how do you maintain a good pace without falling too hard while organically letting your emotions dictate the journey?
Slow down. Slow down. Right? Like, so love is a feeling, yes, but it's also a choice. A lot of us are looking for a love story versus a life partnership. I have a life partner.
Period.
There is nothing in this world that's going to break us up. Right? We in this for life. We've talked about it. You ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere.
And is that a mindset before you finish?
Yes. It's us deciding that we're doing life together.
This is forever.
This is life. I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
We got 3 kids. We've been rocking for 15 years. I ain't starting over with nobody's bullshit.
No.
I'm good here.
It's locked in.
Right? So again, but a life partnership has multiple love stories versus a love story is just the vibe was right. We were attracted to each other. We felt like home, right? That don't last very long. That don't, you know what I'm saying? It's passionate. You know, it's a summer fling. I get it. I understand the draw. So often people will come to me and say, "Oh my God, like we just connected." No. It was sexual attraction. Y'all wanted to have sex. You were sexually attracted to that person. It's not a connection.
What if you don't have sex with this person though? And it's months in and you guys are still feeling that vibe. Like it's like, this is powerful. Like us not having sex is making us come together even more deeper.
And what happens when you have sex?
That's what I always say.
That's
when you find out.
I don't know.
What happens?
I wouldn't know. So let me tell you something.
The unknown is always interesting.
So before you finish the answer to this question, my ex, right, before I got with her, we didn't have sex for 9 months.
Wow. You didn't? I'm not gonna ask you that. I'm not gonna ask you. Guy code. I'm in guy code mode. I ain't gonna ask you that on record.
Situation? No, I did not actually.
For 9 months.
For 9 months.
Okay. Did she?
I didn't know. I don't know.
Okay. Have you ever asked?
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Men don't want to know.
I
wouldn't want to know.
Yeah, I
wouldn't want to know because it would have changed our trajectory, to be honest with you. Because here I am. I thought that if we waited, because I was in, this is after college. I was in college, I did too much. You know what I'm saying? I had to relax. And I'm like, yo, let me do something different because sex to me randomly just feels empty.
Okay.
But like, I was like, yo, let's do something different. And I gained a different emotion for her before sex. And then after sex, we just got way closer. You get what I'm saying? And then we obviously got into a relationship. Yeah. So I'm thinking like, maybe that's the map or maybe not. I don't know.
There's not really one way of doing things that's going to guarantee that a relationship is going to work.
Right.
Two people that want to be together can make a relationship work because they're dedicated to making the relationship work.
Yeah.
Right?
Mindset shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also having the tools to make that relationship work. Like, again, me as a couples therapist, what I really enjoy is that two people that want to be together but are struggling on making their relationship work. I can come in and help with that. Yeah. I can come in and fix that. Now, when you got two people that have been together for extended amount of time, they no longer really want to work on the relationship, but they're just showing up just to show up.
Yeah.
Now, that's a waste of time. Now, that's defeating.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where it comes in, right? To know love is to know pain. Right? To know love is like, a lot of us will say that we're not ready for a relationship or we're not in relationships because relationships require a certain level of vulnerability, of honesty, of debunking, deconditioning, and being open to being hurt again.
Yeah.
That many of us are not willing to risk that, which makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
Right? If you walk down the street on this block and you get shot, I'm not going to be mad at you if you never want to walk down that block again.
Right.
It makes all the sense in the world, right? But I think where we fail is when we're not communicating that to the others that actually think or feel that in time your feelings might change, right? Don't string somebody along. Talking to you. Do not string somebody along when you already know the conclusion, when you already know the end story is not what they seek.
Yeah.
Right. In theory. Right.
Yeah.
I listen, I'm on my high chair here because I'm in a relationship, so I could say that. But if the roles were reversed, I don't know if I'd feel that way.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, everybody's responsible for their decisions.
1,000%.
If you fear asking the question, because you already know the answer and you're choosing to be oblivious to it, then you're choosing this and whatever comes of this. Accountability goes both ways.
I do think that's why I've been single for so long. I'm like, well, for one, it took me a while to realistically get over my ex.
Makes sense.
And I would say about 3 years, it took me, because I was really in love. So when people be like, yo, I'm in love, then they break up with someone and they get with someone else. I was like, nah, you really didn't feel that. Like I had to feel all the emotions of that relationship, but then I also didn't know. I was comparing. So every girl that I met, I was like, she didn't make me feel like this. Like, she didn't do what I like automatically. Oh, she wasn't submissive enough. You get what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. It's a lot of different things that I was like, I'm like comparing. I'm like, this is not what I want at all.
Okay.
I'm talking about before.
No. I follow.
Now it's more like everybody's different and somebody's going to bring whatever they bring to the table and I got to meet them at least halfway.
There we go. You know what? I'm going to say something that might shock you or not.
Okay.
If the best dating advice I could give to anyone here or anybody watching is do not trust your instincts. Do not trust your instincts. Right?
Okay.
That feels opposite of everything we've been told, right? Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. But keep in mind your instincts and your gut and yourself were created as a response to your survival. right? If you were in a space where you needed to survive, or there were certain things around you that you needed to be able to get through, you had to develop these instincts for that time period. However, now, anybody that you respond to in those manners, that you connect with, that feel like home, more than likely is not going to help you get to the next phase in your life or your relationship. Right? So if I'm talking to you and I'm your boy, you told me, yo, Mac, I went out, I met this girl, we just connected, like she feel like home, I'm gonna tell you, run the opposite way. You've dated her before. You've been there before. She is home because you are used to her and what she represents and what she has to offer. That is where your instincts operate the best. But your instinct was developed to maintain your survival. This is exactly what's gonna happen again. So those factors and those risks and those triggers that your response system and your nervous system was warning you from is now going to re-enter your life. Fuck. That's why you can't trust your instincts when it comes to a relationship. I have a female friend, therapist. I love her to death. Called me last night. Hey, I went on a date. Amazing guy. He has everything that I want, but I ain't feeling it. I don't know. There's just something missing. I'm like, yeah? Tell me more. Like, yo, he has children just like me. He has a great job. We talked well. He's really qualified. He's very nice. He's very professional. But it's not doing it for me. I don't want to go on a date with him again. I'm like, interesting. I'm like, you know what I'm going to say? She's like, what? You need a second date with that man. You need a second date with that man. Because that man is exactly what you need, but not what you want.
What you want.
What you want is the things that you've already used to, because that's normal to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could sit here and talk to you. I have no anxiety because y'all black men just like me.
Right.
I'm in my comfort zone.
1,000%.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've been in the studio a million times. I'm comfortable. So there's no issue for me.
Yeah.
Right? So that man, for her, what he was lacking, there was nothing for her to save within him. She has a history of dating men that are in need of her. He needed nothing from her, but he just wanted to get to know her and be with her.
Yeah.
And that is foreign to her.
Yeah, it made it uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And they've been together. Well, it didn't happen yesterday. That was a while ago. I just went to their 3-month anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to her.
That's what's up, man.
Now, I do think, because it's funny that you said this, like, I was dating a woman. I'm dating a woman that feels familiar to me. But in a good, I thought it was in a good way. Now you saying this, it does make sense. Like, yo, she does what I want, but maybe it's not what I need.
Correct, because you've dated her before.
When do you uncover? I guess that's more work for me. I guess, like, on what do I need?
Make a list of what you want versus what you need, or two different things.
From a partner, obviously. Yeah.
Just in life, what do you need?
What do I want?
What do you need? Me and her, we did that work. What do you need? I need a man that is able to lead, that I can trust their leadership. What is the evidence that you can do so? They've made the right choices in life.
Yeah.
Right? She needs a man that understood her culture.
Yeah.
Because she's Haitian. Right? So she's very enmeshed in her culture and with her parents. And usually the men that she has dated were ostracized from the family. So I need a man that's able to enter my world and know how to deal with my family. Right? I need a man that can reassure me, because she was very anxious based on her past experiences. Right? So I need a man when I need validation and I need to be told that I love you and I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
He is able and willing to do that and can see it for himself. Right?
So, okay.
It looks like you're having a mind fuck right now.
You fucked me up with that whole shit, because it does make sense. Like, when I think about it, first of all, when I encounter women, it's not common for me to feel like this woman I've met before. You get what I'm saying? So it's not a common thing to me. So like when I did meet this person and it felt like, oh shit, this could be my wife, right?
There's a comfort zone.
It's a comfort zone.
Yes. Yes.
And I didn't even think about that.
You're attracted to what you know.
I'm attracted to what I know.
You're attracted to what you know. I can walk into a room and have an idea of who would be attracted to me.
Right.
And the fact that you're attracted to me will tell me a lot about you. Because I know the type of people that I attract. I know the type of people that I'm attracted to. Right? So personally for me, I've done the work that if I do meet someone that I'm attracted to, I can already guess what kind of person they are and how they would be hurtful to me, because I have the evidence that throughout my life, when I meet those type of individuals and we connect, here's what tends to happen long term.
Right. So let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
Is it very possible to know that this person will be my husband or my wife in less than a month? You get what I'm saying? Like when you meet them? No. It's impossible. He's like,
I hate when they do that.
But it's a thing. It's a thing that,
He should know. She shouldn't. Oh my God. Like, then I have to deal with it.
Yeah, okay.
You go, you meet someone.
Yeah.
Fast paced the whole process. We're feeling great. The sex is amazing. We think we're having the hard conversations, but in reality, we're not.
Yeah.
And we've get married, this and all that, and then real life hits. Yo, when you're in love, your brain plays a major role in that. It's releasing all of the dopamine, all of the oxytocin, all of the connecting hormones.
Yes.
Right? What happens when it stops?
Yes.
What happens when you finally take off your glasses? You're like, oh shit. This is how you act when you're upset?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is how you act when you're angry at me?
Yes.
I've never seen you punch a wall before. That could have been me.
Yeah.
Wait. Now I'm finally seeing your phone and I'm seeing the conversations you're having. Right? If it's meant to be, if you know you're going to end up there in the first place, why rush the process? You have everything to lose, but nothing to gain.
So what are the hard conversations you should have?
Listen, man, based on the stats, based on the research, you should wait 3 to 4 years before getting married. Anybody that gets married prior to that have the highest rate of divorce.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right. So this whole process is, why speed it up?
Yeah, I say the same thing all the time. People say I'm trying to lead them straight along. I'm like, no, what's the rush?
Correct.
Like, tell me what you're rushing for.
Do you want a marriage? Is that what you want? Or do you want a life partner? A lot of people just want to get married.
Yeah. And they don't know what marriage really is.
For real.
They don't even know what till death do us part means. Like,
that's real.
Death till death do us part.
Making their own vows.
Do you know what that means?
Right.
When you saying that, or you signing up for that, that means when I veer left, can I still come back right? And you're going to be there to meet me? Or does that end our trail because I veered left? Because I'm human. I'm not perfect. Mistakes are going to happen. Hopefully, it's nothing that we cannot recover from, but we can recover through anything that we want to recover from. As long as we're willing to do the work.
1,050%.
So a lot of people are staying married because they're loyal, but they're not committed. So to me, it doesn't make sense. Why rush the process? Yes, some people have gotten married within 3 months, a year, and they claim
they're okay.
That, or it might be.
Yeah.
But that's not the norm.
Right, yeah.
As a professional, I would not recommend it. If my daughter came to me and say, hey, it's been a year, we're getting married. No, you're not. I'm shutting that shit down. Be engaged.
Yeah.
Wait 3 years. And you know what? I'll pay everything for the wedding if you wait for that timeline. If you make it then and you still want to be with that person, I will pay for that.
Yeah.
If not, I'm still going to show up and support. I ain't paying for shit.
So if you're dating someone, right?
Talk to me.
When do you dive into a relationship? Like, when is the appropriate time to dive into a
question.
relationship?
So there's this concept of there's this concept of sliding and having the conversation, right? A lot of people nowadays are sliding into relationships. We never had the dialogue. We never had the conversation.
I just told her yesterday.
Right.
What you said
we
yesterday?
never acknowledge, hey, I want a relationship and I want to be with you and I'd like for us to be exclusive.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Right.
You know what, babe? I'm feeling the same way too. So let's go for it. When that happens, they have a higher chance of making it versus we've been dealing with each other. We never had the conversation. Now we're just assuming, right? Because again, the uncomfortable conversation is not taking place.
Right.
So you might think we're in a relationship. I might think that we're still dating.
That's real.
Right. And I wouldn't say there's a time frame for it.
Yeah.
It's two people deciding what they want to do with the next step of this relationship. To me, I always said marriage is the natural progression
Yeah.
of a healthy relationship versus marriage being a destination, something that we need to do 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what people think. It's a destination for real. Like they just want to get married to say they got married.
Yeah.
I do think that's a common thing. Before we get out of here, let me ask you a question. There's a segment that we do is like, what makes you a better man? Like, what made you a better man? What happened in your life recently that made you a better man that you carrying into this week, or you know?
Ooh, okay. I love that question. What's making me a better man? Believe it or not, I enjoy being a girl dad more than a boy dad.
Okay.
I know that's rare.
Yeah.
I know that's very different from what most say.
Yeah.
But to me, becoming a father in general just forced me to take a look at myself that I've never looked at before.
Yeah.
Especially while having 2 girls, right? I have to learn so many things, my responses to things. Bro, I learned that I wasn't as patient as I thought, right? I had to relearn appreciating the woman body and not sexualizing it, because now I got girls that are running through my house butt ass naked.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like my wife will come bend over in front of me. Ooh. Then your daughter comes and does the same shit playing around.
Yeah.
And you gotta learn to like, oh, okay. We gotta unlearn our assumptions about women's bodies.
Yeah.
Right?
1000.
I had to learn how to shift on how to be softer. I thought I was already soft. Bro, I got a whole other level of softness that I experienced that wasn't real to me. Also forced me to have some conversations with the men around me that I was surprised about. A lot of the men around me had a problem changing kids that are girls.
Yes, bro.
Heard what I just said?
Yeah.
I'm not going to change your diaper because you're a girl. Why?
Yeah,
Are you gonna sexualize
Yeah,
their
you
body
sexualize
parts?
it, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a child.
That's a child,
That's
yeah.
a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not safe around my child.
No.
They cannot be around you without my supervision.
1000.
Right? Bro, the blinders
Yeah.
went all the way off.
Yeah.
So to me, I would say that has made me a much better man than ever before. And the reason why I say I enjoy it more than a boy dad, because raising a boy does require a different version of yourself, but not to the degree of raising girls, because it makes you face the patriarchal system that you've been engaging in for all of these years and not really noticing how you contribute to it. But I've had to apologize to my wife, to my mom, to my mother-in-law, to my sister, to a bunch of women around me. I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah. I apologize.
this is different. Yeah.
Yo, man, I appreciate you, man. This is
My
Mac
man.
Stanley, man. We gotta have you back on for like a part 2 or something.
Yeah, word. It's
Down a
amazing.
year type shit. That was really good.
Thank you, man.
I am JD, of course,
Your boy Scoop.
and T, appreciate you. And then
Of course.
peace.